How's it going, everybody? Welcome to SMG Viewers Comments, episode number 67. We are on the 401 yet again, and the most boring stretch of road in Ontario. We're between Chatham and London, and it's just flat, straight, and fucking boring. Kind of like every single chick you've ever dated. Anyway.
That's a bunch of bullshit, you know that.
So we're headed up to Toronto right now. We're on our way to Bufferfest. We're gonna go hang out with Rob Scallon tonight. This should be a lot of fun. Rob's playing the Toronto Convention Center tomorrow night. We're sticking around for that. Should be really cool as well. Rob's always a lot of fun to hang out with. Should be a very interesting weekend. We get to meet a whole bunch of other YouTubers, check out some really cool videos and whatnot. I'm into the whole kind of indie film festival vibe of it. So yeah, really looking forward to this. I did it last year, had a great time. Anyway, let's cut the bullshit. Let's get right to your questions.
Hi Glenn, I've been playing bass in this band for a few months now, and the guitarist refuses to learn the structure of the songs we're covering. He just wants to play it how he remembers it. He also spends vast amounts of our 2-hour weekly practice just wanking away on his guitar and suggesting new songs we will never complete. Are all guitarists egotistical wankers with no real idea of how it is to work as a team? I want to know because I've been playing guitar for like 30 years and think I might have been doing it all wrong. Yes, I'm doing bass in this band just for fun. Thanks for your great tips on recording and playing and avoiding douchebaggery. Stu.
Yeah, fire the bastard. I mean, like if he's not fucking helping move your project forward, then he's a hindrance. Life's too fucking short to spend it pandering to the egos of non-rock stars. Like, it sounds like the guy's a bit of a wannabe. Maybe he's got a bit of skill, but skill doesn't make you great. Being great makes you great, and there's a big difference there. Yeah, cut him loose. You know, he's a millstone. He's a fucking boat anchor. You know, give him a burial at sea. Just fucking get rid of him. Move on. Life's too short to deal with that kind of bullshit.
How do you deal with clients that just don't turn up to a session? I've been trying to get myself out as an engineer for a while and had booked a session on Sunday with an Oasis wannabe, but just decided to not turn up. I messaged him the night before to message me, and he's on his way and got nothing back. Just wondering how you deal with it. Thanks, love the channel. Your constant ranting pisses off my better half all the time, which is a bonus too.
Oh, gotta love those sessions. Yeah, those are the real fun days. You know, spend hours setting up the studio the night before, tuning the drums, whatnot. You're all set to go. Be like, oh, we're not coming. Or better yet, they don't tell you you're not coming. You sit around with your thumb up your ass for 4 hours. A good way to avoid that shit is get paid up front. At least take half. That way, you know, it's not a total loss if the band doesn't show up. And explain to them, you don't show up, that doesn't excuse payment. You can book another session and pay half up front for that too. You know, you'll find that'll cut that bullshit out real quick. Because if you don't give musicians an incentive to actually show up to a session, then they'll just basically fuck you and not care.
Like a hooker.
Hey Glenn, what double bass pedals do you recommend?
I use Thomas Speed Cobras. They're popular with a lot of guys. Some guys like Iron Cobras, some guys like DWs. I know Jackson Ward is into the DWs. Axis pedals are great, trick pedals are great. I mean, without giving an actual budget range, you're not giving me much to go on. But for my money, I'd buy Speed Cobras, and I did buy Speed Cobras. Pedals are really personal to the drummer, so I'd say go to a Guitar Center and try a few out and see what you like.
Joy, joy, and thrice joy! Glenn is back to his usual non-YouTube compliant self once more. Much happiness and best wishes from England. I'm about 20 miles from Guildford. Yes, it's Anderton's country.
Well, fucking right, man. I love England. I actually went out to Anderton's there. As if you watched one of my earlier videos, had Lee Anderton do a little guest appearance on one of my videos. I got to do a guest appearance on one of Anderton's videos. I think it was the Sound Like Rowdy Roads Without Breaking the Bank video. That was a lot of fun. Those guys were awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing them at NAMM in January as well. Got nothing but absolute respect for the whole Anderton's crew, and I really dig Chapman's guitars as well. As for England as a whole, yeah, really had a wonderful time there. Would love to go back, absolutely. Paris, not so much, but London I would definitely go back for. I love the whole pub atmosphere. The English know how to have a good time. And I love the fact you can't go 3 steps in England without running into another pub. And the food was fucking great. You know, everybody bitches about British cuisine. I didn't see any of that. Everywhere we went, the food was fucking amazing. Like I said, I enjoyed it much more than Paris, to be honest with you. So there you go. Go England.
Thanks for addressing compression on this video. How about some suggestions for good hardware compressors that don't cost the nearly $1,400 US that an Empirical Labs EL8 distressor seems to cost?
Oh yes, how do we get good compression for a budget? I use a distressor, love that. I've had it for well over like 12 years now or something like that. And I'll compress my vocals on the way on with one of those, and that just makes life a whole lot simpler when you go to mix. Yes, if you don't have the budget for a distressor, what you want to do is check out something called the FMR Labs really nice compressor. It costs about 200 bucks. I actually have one on loan from Hoogie. He used it when he was as a bass compressor, actually, when he was touring with Trapped, of all bands. So I actually have Trapped's old bass players compressor in my studio. We're going to put a demo on it. We're going to try it on vocals. We're going to try it out on bass guitar. The FMR really nice compressor is fucking legendary for being the ultimate bang for the buck analog compressor. They're only a couple $100. Check them out. They're just fucking awesome. Trapped, maybe not so much.
Hey Glenn, what's your stance on including cover tunes in the set list if you're an original music band who's starting out and doesn't have any original songs written?
Do whatever you can to get on stage, man. You know, if you're starting out, you know, and all you're playing is cover songs, so what? Get up on stage, learn how to play on stage, learn how to function as a unit. You're young, it doesn't fucking matter at that point. Yeah, if you're a teenager and you're worried about that look, nobody's expecting you to write Stairway to Heaven right out of the gate. You know, if you've got those kind of songwriting skills, that's awesome. I'm not shitting on anybody for that. That's great. If you can go write something amazing, do it. But if you just want to get your feet wet, yeah, go out and play. If you're playing somebody else's material, fine. But get up on stage and learn how to function as a unit. I think that's more important than anything, especially for young people. You need that experience, and you need to learn what it takes to get a band to work together as a unit. And that's not something you're going to do in a jam space all the time.
Amazing show, man. Amateur video request here. How about showing the basics of setting up, editing regular spoken dialogue like your videos? It seems to be so simple, but it's oftentimes overlooked. Thanks.
Okay, no problem. What I do for my monologue actually is really simple. I use a small diaphragm condenser just outside of the camera range, and today we're doing it a little bit differently. Obviously, I've got this cheap little lavalier mic that's just on my lapel, and we're actually using the camera's mic preamp. But normally I would use, you know, a Studio Project C4 or an Octave MC012, just right out of the camera's range, and just pointing straight down. It cuts down on room reflections quite a bit. You see Hollywood movie crews doing this all the time for dialogue mics on set. Same idea, just take a cardioid or a hypercardioid and point it down at the subject, and you'll find you get not too many reflections that way. Basically, I put that through a Great River MP to Envy and slam it through a distressor. But what I'll do on the back end is I will take a noise sample, because it does take quite a bit of fucking preamp gain to get the levels up, and there's a little bit of noise there. So I'll take a sample of that and use Reaper's noise removal algorithms to take that out, so I get a very, very clean signal. And I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it works absolutely great. On my first couple of videos, I was actually shooting on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera. It was recording audio right into that. I find I get far better results just recording audio right into Reaper. But what I'm doing right here, I'm definitely going to have to take noise samples of, and I'm going to have to compress the living shit out of it.
So, Glenn, do you think autotune can be used correctly, and or do you think that it has a place in music and recording?
Well, the way it's been used right now is to correct lackluster performances and make mediocrity even more mediocre. So in that respect, no. But if you take a band where they're using autotune like creatively, like say, I don't know, like T-Pain or People Mover or something like that, where they're using it to get like this big artificial sound and they're not, you know, using it to mask a shit performance, okay, fine. I'll concede that point, sure. But how many bands do you want to listen to that sound like that?
Hey Glenn, I don't mean to sound too lazy, but I can't find any new metal bands that I'm excited about anymore. 8 years or so, when I was first introduced, there was so much that I loved and I still love, but there is nothing blowing my mind nowadays. Any good bands from your neck of the woods that you recommend?
Yeah, check out Cataclysm. They're a Montreal band. They're fucking awesome. They've been around for quite a while, and they're just absolutely great. But I mean, like, I love that word but. I don't mean to be lazy, but. So in other words, yeah, you're lazy. There's a million bands up on YouTube you can go check out. I like a lot of the stoner stuff. I like bands like The Sword and Red Fang and that kind of shit. So I don't know if that's your thing. But the other thing is, start pulling up some, if you're not sure about what's going on today, start pulling up some classics. You know, go check out some old Deep Purple, go check out some old Black Sabbath, pre-1980 Judas Priest, old Iron Maiden, that kind of stuff. Deep Purple, you know, there's so much great shit out there. I mean, so much great shit out there. It's not even funny. You know, there's a huge amount of metal records that were made in the 80s, especially in the thrash genre. A lot of obscure bands. There were just so much great shit being made back then. I definitely recommend checking out some of that stuff.
Dude, join Nailed Mix because of your promos, and it seriously has worked wonders for me. My mixes no longer sound like an underfed elderly woman living in a government-funded retirement home, and I have you and you alone to thank for that. So thank you.
Don't just thank me, man. Thank Joey, thank Joel, thank AL. I mean, like, those guys are just spectacular at what they do. And again, this is all about cross-genre stuff. I mean, like, I don't listen to a lot of the records Joey makes, but that's fine. I'm sure he doesn't listen to a lot of the records I like, you know, but I can definitely appreciate the work that goes into engineering those records. Good advice is good advice no matter where it's coming from, especially when it comes to recording. If you can learn something from those guys, that's amazing. That's why I recommend that, because even I am picking tips up from those guys. So there you go.
I've got a big homework of 15 pages to be returned next month. I quoted you about the samples and auto-tune. The teacher sounded pissed.
Well, you know, I'm sorry your teacher's pissed, but the truth fucking hurts. You know, it's just become the easy way of doing things, and we're not pushing musicians anymore. If your teacher's so fucking butthurt about it, you know, tell him to fucking call me and I'll explain it to him. Maybe he can learn something.
Plugins are just as good as the real thing.
I fuck my hand just like it's the real thing.
That was amazing, dude. Love that. That's good. I might actually put that on a shirt with your permission. But that was just fucking great. Bravo.
As a heavy Ableton user, I am very interested in your opinion on RME, Behringer, and other recording devices, especially on topics such as latency and universal compatibility.
I can't really say too much about the Behringer stuff. I mean, like, stuff you would directly plug into your computer. Like I said, I've got an 88,000, but that plugs into another set of converters, which is the RME stuff, which I've got nothing but great things to say. RME, as far as I know, has some of the best drivers in the industry when it comes to PC stuff. If you're looking at RME, yeah, definitely get it. You can't go wrong. That being said, we're going to be looking at the Focusrite unit in a week or two, and we're going to track live drums with that. So I'm very curious to see how solid the drivers are on that with latency and that kind of thing, because I know that's very, very, very important. Basically, whatever has good drivers, get.
For a high school kid who wants to start recording some stuff, is Bias Effects a good option?
Absolutely. The price of admission is great. If I'm going to presume you have a home computer and a small interface, yeah, Bias is fucking great. You know, either Bias Amp or Bias Effects, really depends on what you want to do. Bias Effects has limited amps, whereas Bias Amp has a shit ton of amps. So you're not really telling me exactly what you want to do, but Bias Effects will do the fucking job and give you a crap ton of guitar effects to go with it. So you really can't go wrong, in my opinion. I've used the software quite a bit and I really enjoy it. So there you go.
How to drown a bass player. Tell him the black line at the bottom of the pool smells like licorice.
I really can't add any more to that. That was awesome. Okay, so we're just coming into London, Ontario. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks everybody for watching. And hey, if you like, please check out my brand new Stop Cupping the Mic Dumbass hats that are on sale now in the SMG store. Meanwhile, if you want a shot at winning that Focusrite Scarlett 18920, please sign up for my mailing list. The link is in the screen below. I'm Glenn Fricker, and I'm out of here. See ya! Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this episode. If you like the content, please support the channel either at my SMG shop or through my Patreon. If you want to see more, hit one of the playlists. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.